This is SportsCenter.
The Panthers begin to celebrate. The Florida Panthers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup.
How about that?
Yes.
Cups in as many years.
Yes, their cup runneth over in Florida. Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions, repeat champions of hockey. Welcome into SportsCenter. Nicole, Briscoe, Ryan Smith with you. And what a night it is for Florida.
It's like the commissioner said, the hockey works down there in the Sunshine. So how did the Panthers get it done? I'll give you 2 words for that. His name, Sam Reinhart. Now, obviously, Sam Bennett was the guy who won the Conn Smythe Award, but in this particular game, Sam Reinhart was all over the goal. That was number 1. Very early on in this game, getting the Panthers on the board first, it was 1-0. Then in the second, it was 2-0. Guess what? Reinhart again. There for the rebound and the goal. Here he is, 3-0, Panthers. Reinhart, empty netter, gets the hat trick. It's 4-0. Minute later, Reinhart, empty netter. That's number 4 on the night for Reinhart. Absolute crushing night for Edmonton. Dominating night for the Florida Panthers as they go on to win this one 5-1 to win their second straight Stanley Cup title. Steve Levy, Kevin Weekes are going to join us down from Sunrise, Florida in just a little bit to bring you all of the latest, all of the celebration. Of course, it's not just the Panthers side of the story. You've got to have the Edmonton side of the story. Connor McDavid, the future there as well. We'll hear from McDavid coming up in just a second. But the Panthers, how about them? They become the 6th team over the last 40 years to repeat as Stanley Cup champions, but they're the first to do it since another Florida team did it. Like I said, hockey works down there in the Sunshine. The Lightning did it 4 years ago. And for the second straight year, the Panthers, they clinch in front of their home crowd. They're the first team to do that in consecutive years since, wait for it, the Oilers back in 1987, 1988. Speaking of the Oilers, new on SportsCenter, Connor McDavid.
Lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. And they're a heck of a team. You know, the Stanley Cup champions back-to-back for a reason.
What's the difference in the series?
I mean, obviously their forecheck was great. They tilted the rink. They were able to kind of stay on top of us all over the place. Never really able to generate any momentum up the ice. You know, we kept fucking trying the same thing over and over again, just banging our heads against the wall. So, credit to them. They played well.
You guys played a pretty good first period. 2 mistakes ends up in your back end. I guess, is that the way you kind of play mistake-free hockey against you?
Yeah, we kept on saying we want to try to win a 2-1 game. Never found a way to do that, obviously. They got great players. You know, how many guys had 20-plus points in their postseason? You know, they're as deep as it comes. Yeah, 2 mistakes. You know, yeah, you're right. I thought we put a pretty good period, 2 mistakes, and chasing again.
Connor, you came into the playoffs with a lot of confidence and belief in this group. What's the takeaway there with the group and how far you get?
Still a lot of confidence and belief, you know. I don't think people thought we were going to make it this far. You know, we obviously believed. Came up just a bit short again.
Every group is different. What we remember about this group?
We came together at the right time, I would say. You know, a lot of difficult circumstances coming down the stretch and injuries and guys fighting through things and guys just coming. You know, we just found a way to get here. You know, obviously didn't find a way to get enough, but credit to a lot of guys.
Look at the core of this team. You feel you're going to get a few more kicks of this can here? It's the way that the core of the guys you have on this team.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure.
The game you had was strong enough to go through the West pretty well, right? You beat good teams out there and you beat them in 5 games. When it comes up against Florida and you couldn't solve Florida, you know, what should we think about a Florida team that's that much better than the opponents you face getting here?
Yeah, they're a really good team. I said it many times already. Very deserving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. They were really good. No? Yeah, you don't think?
Yeah, disappointed Connor McDavid right there. And here's Leon Draisaitl. This is new on SportsCenter.
Just mistakes. Yeah. Just one-on-one battles, mistakes.
Beyond last 2 games here, you guys managed 3 goals. What do you think kind of happened offensively? Was it something they were doing, or something you guys weren't doing the last couple games?
We defend well. We couldn't get enough looks.
What we remember about this group, Leon, you guys really battled?
Yeah, we battled, but we're not leaving here as winners. So, yeah.
You say they defend well. It was tough for you guys to go close to the net. It seems like it was like that, at least for the last 2 games. Do you feel that?
Yeah, they box out well, defend well.
Does it hurt more a second time?
Always hurts. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's not more or less. It's just the same.
You talked this morning about having always playing from behind. How much of that was this so typical in this series every game?
Yeah, too much.
Ein Blick in Ihre Gefühlswelt geben.
Yeah, enttäuscht.
And you guys came in with a lot of belief and confidence in this group. I'm talking about going into the playoffs. To get this far, what's maybe the takeaway from
The takeaway is that we didn't win. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. We didn't win. So, yeah, could try again next year.
Is there something that stands out as far as what some of the answers could be here, or is it too early?
I mean, there's little things, little mistakes that, we obviously need to learn at this stage. And, but yeah, it's fresh right now. Keine Ahnung. Weiß ich nicht. Keine Ahnung.
Können Sie schon sagen, woran es gelegen hat? Ich meine, das war ja 2-2 stand und jetzt
Ja, einfach nicht genug Tore geschossen, zu viele hinten uns einkassiert, zu viele kleine Fehler und ja, jetzt stehen wir hier.
Was können Sie trotzdem mitnehmen aus diesem erneut langen Playoff-Run?
Gar nichts. Verloren, unser Ziel war zu gewinnen und ja, stehen jetzt leider wieder mit leeren Händen da.
Yeah, did this feel like a better Florida team than even compared to last year and how that series went?
Yeah, I think they were better, yeah.
In what way?
Just deeper. I mean, their third line scored how many goals? Until tonight, it wasn't their top 2 lines, really. It was, the third line that, did a lot of damage. So I think they're just deeper.
The Panthers had never won a title through their first 29 years as a franchise, but now they've won consecutive titles over the last 2 years, becoming the 4th team over the last half-century to win back-to-back Cup finals. Now they'll try to be the first three-peat since the Islanders in the early 80s.
The Florida Panthers are once again Stanley Cup champions, and this game was won on the back of one man, Sam Reinhart. Not one, not two, not even a hat trick. No, 4 goals in a 5-1 win for the second Stanley Cup title for the Panthers in as many years. And that man has the headset on and is ready to join us now. Sam, can you hear me?
I can.
Congratulations. How does this one feel?
Honestly, it feels just as good as the first one. It's been a long journey to this point, and we're going to enjoy this one.
This game that you had, 4 goals just coming out immediately, like, where did all of that come from?
I think we've had guys step up all playoffs. Guys almost take their turn showing up in a moment like that, and almost takes the pressure off everyone knowing someone's going to be there.
Brad Marchand said after the game, like, this is a team that has been doubted every step of the way. So when you look at what you have done throughout these playoffs and the Stanley Cup final, what does that say about this group? And when you come together and you play together, what does it say about what you guys are able to do?
We just have that belief, that self-confidence that going into a series, we're going to come out on top. And no matter what happens, we just take it day in, day at a time. And, it's, we like how we're built. We like I said, everyone kind of takes their turn stepping up, and we've learned our lessons over the years, what we need to do to be here standing at the end.
But what does it say about the culture down there as well? Because, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Marchand was the guy who was playing for, like, the team that you didn't like. And he comes in, and he is a great addition to the team, and has obviously come up huge in these playoffs as well. So what does that say about the culture you've built down there?
Yeah, it's special. I think guys see it. I think guys know it when they come in. It's an easy group to be a part of. We demand a lot, and he's a guy that's such a competitor. His compete level is as high as I've ever seen in my career. So, it was special to have him come at the deadline and be a massive part of this.
So one of my favorite things right after you guys won it was watching Paul Maurice go around and give individual hugs to as many of the players that he could. Did he get to you? And when he did, what did he say?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got so much respect throughout the group. When he talks, he's usually right, and we know it, and it's just that tight-knit community we got here. Guys have bought into his messaging, and it means a lot.
So last summer, when this group had the Stanley Cup, it went for quite an adventure. What is it that you think is going to happen this summer?
I don't know. My focus is the next week or two, and then we'll go from there.
All right,
we're going to enjoy it.
Have fun. Enjoy those beers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Will do.
He needs time to think about what he wants to do with the
He's
cup.
like, let me think about how many beers I want to put in it. Let me think about what I want to eat out of it. Let me think where I want to take it on vacation. All of those things.
So many options. He's got lots of time to think about it. But now our time is dedicated to Steve Levy and Kevin Weekes, who had a front row seat for the Stanley Cup champs.
Hi,
guys,
gentlemen.
Take it away.
Ryan, Nicole, SportsCenter on the Road, as you know, is presented by Geico from South Florida, which is once again the capital of the hockey world. And they did it in dominating fashion, Weekesy.
They did it in dominating fashion, and I have to tip my hat to both clubs, both franchises for sure. The Edmonton Oilers had a valiant effort. A rematch. How rare is it to see a rematch in the Stanley Cup final? The hardest trophy to win in sports for the Stanley Cup. But both teams played their hearts out. To me, the Florida Panthers were a tick or two better. They were dominant. They recognized. You asked me pregame right here on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
And I said, the Oilers have to treat this like a Game 7 for them, and so too do the Panthers. The Panthers treated it like a Game 7, and they just had a masterclass of a performance.
Florida handcuffed maybe the two best players. We Connor McDavid for sure,
Yes.
but Leon Draisaitl handcuffed the two superstars of the Oilers, and I think that's the biggest reason we got the result we did.
Absolutely. The players for Florida and their staff, they really relished the matchup, specifically Barkov. But they were absolutely dominant defensively.
Matthew, back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. What did it take?
It took a lot of heart. It took our fans. It took everybody. And my family's going to be out here any second. It took them. And this is so special.
What was the biggest challenge this year?
Well, for myself, it was just seeing if I could play. For our team, we're getting everybody's best. As defending Cup champs, you're getting every team's best no matter what. The fact that we were able to do it, defend our title, with going so deep the last few years, it's unbelievable. I mean, our group's special. It really is.
So you went through a very serious injury at Four Nations. Like you said, you didn't even know if you were going to be able to play for the playoffs. Describe physically what it took to perform in this series.
Oh, it was tough. It was tough, but it was worth every freaking second.
Describe tough. What does it look like behind the scenes? Describe what was tough about it. What it looked like.
So many hours. Like, it sucked. Like, so many hours of rehab and so many hours of pain, and sleeps are awful. Like, just all the little that was tough. So, I feel no pain right now.
And he's not going to feel any pain for a long time, I'm sure. And only now will we start to hear about all the surgeries and all the injuries, and players from both teams can't get away, though, from the first period. And the domination by the Florida Panthers. The Oilers gave up 2 or more goals in the first period in every single game of this series.
Let's look at this from track and field terms. You think you could spot a lead in the 100-meter to the great Usain Bolt? That's the same thing that happened here. For the Edmonton Oilers, they were chasing games. Just a defending Stanley Cup champ, a team that's been here 3 consecutive times. It's hard enough to rescue games, but it's even harder to rescue them against the defending Stanley Cup champs. So that really was a bit of an antidote. And for the Florida Panthers, they came out and established themselves. And on the bench, when you're chasing leads, you start having some questions. That's what happens. And on the ice, oh, boys, what are we doing? In the dressing room. And it kind of got away from the Oilers as a result of that great start.
My big takeaway is going to be, and this is tricky because as you criticize the Oilers, you want to make sure you give full credit to Florida and what the Panthers did. But to me, this will be remembered as a 6-game series, right? It felt like a sweep. That's how dominant Florida felt like to me in this series.
Lees, we were in this building last year. We were in this very building last year. And in Game 7, that was a dominant performance by the Panthers, and the Oilers left you wanting more. As you just said, here in Game 6, what felt like a sweep, this also was a dominant performance by the Panthers, and the Oilers left you wanting more. If you're the Florida Panthers, this is a statement win. This is part of legacy right now. Going to 3, winning 2 straight back-to-back, that's thing of storybook stuff right there.
When does the next part start for Florida, right? Getting these guys, Brad Marchand, what do we do? Sam Bennett, the Conn Smythe Trophy, Aaron Ekblad. Maybe give him 24 hours, 48 hours to enjoy this?
But here's one thing, a little inside nugget. Last year, the celebration, there was about 1.5 foot of beverages in there.
Okay.
Beer, champagne, wine, you name it.
7-Up.
And there's 7-Up. And they were happy to pay for the repairs, the Viola family, the ownership group. We'll see if that happens here.
And I can only imagine what that long flight back to Edmonton will be like. Losing in the Stanley Cup final consecutive years in the same building to the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. What a story here in South Florida where the Panthers reign supreme once again. That's the story from sunrise, where the sun will be coming up and these people will still be celebrating in a few short hours from now.
Brad Marchand, huge piece of the Panthers picture, and he's got some sound now new on SportsCenter.
Brad, Stanley Cup champion again, 14 years later. What feels different for you this time around?
I definitely appreciate it way more. I mean, when you win it your first year, you don't understand how difficult it is and the trials and tribulations you have to go to be part of something like this. And I've embraced every second of this. It's been incredible.
So you've had an incredible year, right? You get traded, a lot of adversity, go to a new team, away from your family. What are you most proud of?
Probably most proud of my family. You know, like they took on a lot, me leaving and just, you know, sacrificing being away. You know, and there's a lot that goes on at home when you have a wife and kids and you got a whole life that you move away from. And they made sure to take care of all of that so that I could just focus on this. Even when they got down here, they kind of left me alone and let me focus and prepare and do what I had to do, so I'm grateful for them.
Oh, it's very sweet. And just for you personally, you have such an interesting perspective, right? You come in as an outsider, so describe what makes the culture of the Florida Panthers so special.
They have a complete buy-in from everybody, and you know, there's no hierarchy in this group. Everybody's completely loved in the room, and the relationships are incredible. It starts off the ice here, and when you're that close, you know, you want to go to war together for each other. Hurry up, it's bedtime. So yeah, it's been fun.